President of Coca-Cola Antarctica. He has been with the company for 2 years. He is originally from Reno, Nevada, and that's where he's going to make his $1 million, in Antarctica, where he worked in the accounting industry for over a decade. Using Twitter and a massive email campaign, he convinced Coca-Cola that he was the man to lead the charge to bring Coca-Cola products into Antarctica and the Arctic Circle. His biggest accomplishment so far has been modifying the national Share a Coke With campaign to his territory, resulting in record sales. His Your Picture on a Coke can campaign proved to be a massive appeal to penguins, polar bears, and elves, which make up 90% of the target demographic in his territory. The mission of his company is to refresh the world, and that is exactly what Russ plans to talk to you about today. Give a warm Coca-Cola welcome to Russ Steele.
Russ and Diane, your son has moderate to severe autism. He's nonverbal and may never speak. He may have a hard time connecting with other people. When my son was diagnosed with autism, conversations like this were every day and just faded into a murky haze in my mind. I felt helpless and hopeless. What do you do when life gives you a problem that has no solution? I chose the most obvious path, pointing fingers and blaming other people, and complaining. I imagined all of the ways that I must have caused my son's disability. I was certain my negligence was going to make him miss the right treatment. I let myself feed on the anxiety and depression. My life was covered in dark clouds, but not even the darkest clouds could hold back the ray of sunshine that is my son Brendan for very long. Brendan is happy every single day, and he wants everyone else around him to be happy too. Do you know how hard it is to be miserable about someone else's life when they have an ear-to-ear grin 24 hours a day? And their whole goal in life is to get you to have the same? I tried to feel bad. I tried really, really hard to feel bad. But it was impossible. Oscar Wilde said, "Some people bring happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go." Brendan was always a type 1, and I found myself becoming the type 2 when I tried to be miserable. His happiness was contagious and refreshing. It changed my world. If he was going to be happy no matter what, how could I not fail him and not do the same? How could I fail him and not do the same? Yes, my son is moderate and severely autistic. So far, that hasn't bothered him. I can't let it bother me. He's mostly nonverbal. I may never get to have a full conversation with him. But he's not completely nonverbal. He's chosen his 9 words very, very carefully. Mom, Nana, Dad, hug, tickle, kissy. Chicken, pudding, ginchi. That's his try it, ginchi. I don't know about that. What an example he set for me, though. He only has 9 permanent words, but he's carefully chosen them to meet his every need and cram as many happy moments as possible into his life. With those 9 words, he can let anyone in our house know that he's ready to connect, to play, or to eat one of his 9 square meals a day. Does anyone have it better? My son has a hard time connecting with people, so he makes his connections count. When we get home from work at night, he immediately wants to take off your shoes as soon as you come in the door. Get comfortable, you're home. When you finish eating or drinking anything, he busses your table before you can even set it down. He loves to take John on long walks whenever he can. He beats on my friend Jim until one of them taps out, and he blushes fully when we call my Aunt Cindy his girlfriend. My son Brendan is a Coca-Cola man. He doesn't drink Coca-Cola. I tried to give him 1 sip of cherry Coke when he was 2 years old. He curled up his lip just like I just showed you, and I was out of his circle of trust for 2 years. If he was going to drink anything that I gave him, it had to be water or apple juice in a clear glass container, so he could check it out. He doesn't drink Coca-Cola, but he lives our mission. To refresh the world, to inspire moments of optimism and happiness, and to create value and make a difference. I love this company and I love our mission because I know the world, and not just Coca-Cola, would be a better place if we made the mission of the company our personal mission, like my son has done so effectively. We can all make a conscious effort to be a breath of fresh air when we're interacting with our fellow human beings. As leaders and communicators, it's part of our jobs to make judgments, to be analytical, and even to be critical when we're trying to solve a problem. Way too many people have adopted the problem-solving strategy that I mentioned that I used earlier, pointing fingers, blaming, and complaining. I've been as guilty of doing both of these things as anyone else, especially the complaining part. But what I've noticed, though, is that it never makes me feel good, and it never solves the problem I'm dealing with. This is useful information because I'm pretty sure it doesn't help anybody else solve their problems either. One of the greatest pieces of advice I ever got as a leader was that everyone is usually trying their best and we should always treat them that way. It's my compass. I ask myself if I'm living that every single time that I'm leading a group. If we all make that assumption that everyone's doing their best, that allows us to treat everyone kindly, and that allows us to refresh the world. We need to refresh the world because it's a very difficult place to be. In my experience, I've never had a single friend since I was born that did not have some kind of significant struggle or adversity. Have you? Our challenges are the one thing that we all have in common, but they're the one thing that most of us don't want to share. We need to share it anyway. We need to share it because we need to be reminded that life is a fight and we're all in it together. We need to be reminded that we're the only ones who can provide support and happiness to each other. Friendship and kindness will inspire moments of optimism and happiness, and it's those moments that allow us to face our challenges. Offering refreshment to the world and inspiring moments of optimism and happiness will allow us to create value and make a difference in this world. When we focus on others instead of just ourselves, we allow ourselves to give and receive hope and happiness. We're able to serve our communities, our companies, and our families. When we help others get what they need, it helps us even more. And in the end, it will make your world a better place. The importance of the ideas in our mission statement cross all borders and have the potential to solve most of the problems of the world. A little can and a little boy can both refresh the world. A fountain drink and an evening spent with your friends can inspire moments of optimism and happiness. A few glass bottles and serving your fellow man can create value and change the world. If an inanimate object can change the world, what can you do? Let's all get a Coke and start refreshing the world.